Meadows. Some consider it a peaceful starting zone filled with forests, hills, rivers, and relatively peaceful wildlife. And that would be true if not for these bricks. What may lack in damage, they compensate in annoyance, chasing down anybody looking better than they do, like it's Crack Santa giving out fixes. And while I do look like Hobo Escobar pushing cans under the bridge, you better believe I'd hold a monopoly over that Miss Valheim crown if this is my competition. Crackies and their creepy behavior has already crashed property values to the point no one actually lives here. But with me moving in, things will have to change. So I employed the oldest profession in the world. No, I'm not selling my body. How would that even help me? Nah, I picked up a stick, made a heavier stick, and let them know about my arrival. That's called warrior, baby. Although I have to admit, watching your pitiful effort trying to beat me made me feel almost compassionate. I said almost, bitch. And I'll take that raisin. But shaking down crackies isn't the reason I'm here though. Valheim is a world of undead, a garbage bin of the universe where local god Odin threw his enemies known as Forsaken and kinda forgot about them. Since then, they have risen in power and became a threat. While Odin could land here and deal with it, running knees deep in open sewage wasn't his ideal holiday destination. Instead, he used his influence to send some dead warriors to prove themselves worthy of a Valhalla, the promised land for brave souls where meat is plenty and your drunk videos don't make it to the internet. Many warriors have come before me, and only lonely runestones are left behind to remind of their forgotten stories. But now, it was my turn. Carried through the skies, I was dropped into a monument that marks the start of my journey. The Valheim Saga. Valheim. Glad to be back. And that's some lovely weather right there. Hugin. You can hug in these nuts if you expect me to read this. Just a bit of banter for the old time's sake. Yeah. Let's check where the first boss is at. Really close. It's really close. That's convenient. Okay. Let's do some gearing up then. A club. I should make one. Plenty of materials right here. Ooh, some berries. Gimme. Let's eat some. Get some stamina going. And here is this bird again. I swear I can't even take a shit without this bird stalking me. Might as well start calling him Polly. Pirate's little helper. Wait, again? This is getting ridiculous. I remember this bird being annoying, but not this much. Like, come on. I don't need a tutorial on how to wipe my ass. But I mean, it's fair to say that I have played this game before, at this point, years ago. So I know my way around it. The last time I played, I think the last biome released was Plains. I think I discovered Mistlands, but Mistlands weren't finished at that point, so it was just like a dark foggy area with nothing really to it. However, now, many patches later, there are a bunch of stuff added to the game. As much as I've seen, at least new gear sets, new bosses, new enemies, new dungeons, whatever your heart desires. So I'm really excited to experience that. But most of the stuff is still far away in a different biomes. I don't know if meadows have been reworked to any extent. I guess we'll have to figure it out. Right now I have nothing to my name, so I still need some kind of weapons, I need some kind of armor, I need to get myself situated. So let's just focus on that. While technically I could run around naked inflicting mental terror on local fauna, this doesn't sound fun to me. And I would still need a bow. Summoning the first boss requires me to perform a satanistic ritual involving severed deer heads. And my first attempt on fisting the wildlife has left a lot to be desired. Well, I'm not chasing that. You get to live another day. That, and I'm just not taking chances on leaving my backdoor vulnerable to crackies. They up to no good. So if you're an animal lover thinking if I'm on the right side of history, first, I don't make the rules. Second, this is World of the Dead, to which I am not an exception. And anyone that played World of Warcraft knows that no warrior ever died doing smart things. So when one of the first actions in this game was for me to face check a wild beehive, we can comfortably say I was living up to the expectations. It wasn't all bad though. Roaming the lands leave a lot of room for philosophy, and encountered obstacles engaged my mind to come up with ideas. To craft my weapons first I needed a workbench. And workbenches in this game are like house pets. If you don't treat them right, they will give you an attitude. The crafting station needs a roof. Should I make you breakfast as well? Let's see, so I'm gonna need more wood. Stone axe. 5 wood, and I still need 1 more stone. Okay, let's check it out. That's a weird requirement to have. But I guess I get to live some weird kid's dream of building a Barbie house for a workbench. Well, it's not gonna build itself, so let's just get to it. And so I did. I found myself the missing materials, I crafted myself an axe, and I gone chopping. Amidst all of this, I managed to finesse a skeleton out of his last ribs. And even managed to discover gravity. Oh no. This is embarrassing. Wait, maybe I can twist it. Pussy boy Newton took the easy way, and I am making a corpse run. Like a real man. Yeah! But I didn't let any minor setbacks to slow down my progression. Continuous harvest of materials filled up my inventory pretty quickly. And despite my ambition whispering me how I can carry as much as I want, my back called in veto, and Polly gave me a condescending speech about encumbrance. So I decided instead of just building a roof, I would break 2 walls with 1 forehead and build a fully operational forward operating base. Which is a fancy way of saying a shack with a storage. Nonetheless, it would be my shack, and I gone to work. And here it is, me mighty fob. Yeah, I know that it looks like shit right now, but I guess we can say it matches the outfit. Anyway, let's give you a quick tour. So first, I have my campfire over here with a little bit of a smoke problem, but nothing I can't manage. At least I have a place to cook my food at. On the side, all the wood I chopped I placed into the stockpiles for convenience. And inside, nothing crazy is going on, it's a simple 4x4 with some comfort items like bed and a torch to prolong my rested buff, which increases my health and stamina regeneration. It's pretty neat. I do have a decent amount of storage, just not much loot, but we are gonna sort it out later. My workbench, I placed it in the corner, it's conveniently tucked in. No longer does it give me the attitude of requiring a roof, and I could craft pretty much anything I want provided I have the items, but I don't. I am in dire need of leather right now, because leather is needed to craft pretty much everything around here. I still don't have pants, I don't have any kind of helmet, the only weapon I have is the club. I mean, it's pretty decent, I am not complaining about the club, I like it. But the priority currently is a bow and I should get it. I do have a decent view, except that part of the roof is blocking it, but it's not really that big of a deal. If it gets in the way, I will figure it out, at least I can still move in and out through a window if I want to. Well, anyway, that's the tour, now we need to fill up my boxes, so let's go hunting. Here is the deer. Can I take him from behind? Maybe? Yes, I got my deer kill. Give me the loot. Okay, tanning rag, deer hide, deer trophy, deer rug. Most of these things are gonna be useful, and some meat on top of that, I don't mind it. Let's get some flint. And here is what I scouted. Let me build myself a workbench, because workbench would allow me to dismantle this house safely. And there is a beehive in here, which means that I can get some bees going for myself. That's gonna be another of my food sources, and God knows I really need food. This was the first queen bee of a few that I managed to find around the island, which allowed me to set up my own honey factory, as well as providing protection to my privacy against all the creeps trying to peek through my windows. What the hell is this noise? Oh. I've been there, buddy. Honey to die for. And the killer bees ain't sharing. Well, let's evaluate the damage. Not too much. And some free loot. I take it. So I was happy. And so were the bees. Also, I gathered just enough leather to finally build myself a bow. Crude bow. I can make it. And I will make it. This is very useful. I do have some flint arrows, but I think those are better than my stone arrows generally. Or maybe I can make more flint arrows. Nah, I'm not able to make flint arrows. At least not yet. Unless I make an upgrade. I will need to craft more crafting stations. I do have resources for this one. Let's put this in a corner. And next I will need this, but I don't have enough deer skins. And I can now make flint head arrows. Now the task at hand was to figure out how much materials I still needed to complete my drip, and for that, I needed to dive into a forbidden sorcery, commonly used by dark wizards in common tongue known as engineers. Math. So 5 letter for trousers, 2 letter for spear. I could make a letter set. Bunch of deer hide is still necessary, and if I would upgrade it, that's a bunch of leather as well. But that's where I had an idea. Since I still needed leather scraps from boars and deer hide from, well, deer, I decided to use the excess wood I had to build a pen and domesticate some wild boars for consistent supply of materials. Get in! Okay, I have 2 pigs. I don't need this one though. Now, I don't know how effective this will be. I feel like it will be too slow of a process, but the thing is that I wanna explore as much as this game has to offer, and if I recall correctly, past this zone I'm not gonna need much leather. So if I'm looking to get any value out of this, there won't be a better time to do it. On the bright side, instead of chasing pigs around the forest like a moron, I can just solely focus on the deer hunt. Upon my return, my boards were already domesticated. But when I came to collect the return on my investment, I underestimated just how tough they were. Wait, I did 0 damage. So how do I do this? I made another attempt by crafting a knife, which made virtually no difference, so I called it a waste of time, and since I still needed a few scrap, I took the old school method of going into the forest to chase pigs like a moron. Alas, with enough resources, I was finally able to afford my last crafting station, and by using the forbidden technique of rolling one log into the other, I was ahead of the curve on obtaining some fine wood, a material that was otherwise inaccessible to me at the moment. I converted it into a few decorations, which increased the duration of my comfort buff. Nothing insane, but some quality of life is always welcome. And as for myself, I was able to pull off a Cinderella, turning my scraps into this. Like a lizard, I shed off my hobo skin for a Spartan outfit. Not sure if that's exactly what lizards do, but all I need now is a cracky to kick into a well. This is Sparta! Which was a good morale boost before upcoming fight. Okay, so a quick overview. I did craft myself a spear. In past I used to use excessive amount of arrows, so this time I will be going more close and personal. We'll see how it goes. I did craft myself leatherhide armor. I did upgrade it a little bit, but most of the stuff requires more bone fragments and there just aren't any skeletons around. And I am not willing to sacrifice my own ribs for an upgrade, so this will have to suffice. When it comes to food, I did get my best stuff pretty much. Well-balanced diet between the health and stamina. A lot of stamina, at least at this stage of the game. And I did pick up my deer trophy, so I'm as ready as I will ever be to face the final boss of the meadows. Meaning there is no reason to actually delay that. Oh, mushrooms. So let's get it over with. Ooh, berries. Since I do have a lot of pigs to feed, might as well pick those up. Not gonna go to waste. I mean, you can argue that it is already going to waste because I cannot slaughter them pigs, so they're just freeloaders eating my food. But what the hell at this point? Ooh, a deer. Ha ha ha! Get speared, mate. Give it to me. Where is Ektir? Let's fuck that guy up. In reality, the fight looked way less sexy than the montage would suggest. It consisted mostly of me running around, fetching my spear into another dimension, and then scouring the land trying to retrieve it. Regardless, the defeat of Thor's butt-plug charger marked the completion of my first challenge, making a tutorial zone somewhat interesting. More importantly, it allowed me to claim his head and his antlers that will be essential for the future progression. Of course, we can't forget about Polly, as he showed up again and instructed me to sacrifice the head of Ektir to appease the gods. I am not a god appeasing type, so it made me feel uncomfortable. A whole lot of sacrificing is going on in this game. Don't you think? I don't know how much I trust Polly. And before, Polly is actually a mouth of Sauron and I'm just doing his bidding. I'd like to believe I became wiser since, well, you know, the gravity incident. But am I wiser, or am I going down the rabbit hole of conspiracy theorist? There is a very thin line between two, and I am not sure if I have crossed it. Even though I was better equipped than since I started, I still wasn't in a position to challenge the authority, so I decided to keep an eye on the bird and play along until I figure it out, and now the only thing left to do was to place the head effect here on an altar, marking the culmination of the first chapter. But with this chapter closed, another one opens. This time in the Black Forest, where the Elder awaits.